Hi there, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Mike, and I'm excited to share another Divi tutorial with you. My goal here is to make learning Divi as straightforward as possible. So today we're going to see how we can combine overlaps with Divi Sticky Options to create some effortless transitions. So if we scroll down over here, you'll see that the transition will take place, and we'll come in with some sticky options here, and it'll stay there until we scroll all the way down. The section will then push it up. Okay, so if that's something that looks interesting to you, do hit that like button below, and let's jump right in. I should probably just apologize for my voice today. I am nursing a bit of a cold. All right, so hopefully it doesn't impede too much. All right, so the very first thing that we need to do in order to achieve this is we obviously need to create a new page. All right, once that opens up, just give it a title. Okay, and we use the Divi builder. Right, we're going to build this from scratch. Okay, so I put in a header at the top, I think. Let's go back. Yep, I got the header. So I'm just going to copy that header here so I don't have to rewrite it. But just add in a quick row, and then I'm going to add in a text. Paste in that text over here, and it's a header. So design for my heading text, I just want to make it play fair display. I want to make it bold, and I want to push this up to 50 and make it center. Okay, that's all right. And then we want to add in one more text item, text module. So again, I'm just going to copy what I wrote. So this is not necessary for the design, it's just that this is how I created it. So if you want to add this in, you feel free. If you want to skip this part and just jump straight to the tutorial itself, feel free to do so too. Okay, center that. All right, and then for this section, I also just want to add in some padding or some margin, actually, not sizing. Margin bottom of 200. Let's call it 80 VH. Okay, so once that's done, that's too much. Okay. Now we jump into the actual creating of the things that we're here for. So let's just add in on my section. In this section, I just want to make sure that I set a padding at the bottom of 100 VH. Okay, that's just going to give me the space that I can work with. Then inside the section, we want to add a row, and this row we just want to make one single row. Excuse me. And then we want to jump and just make some changes to the settings of that row. So under sizing, we want to make it 90%. And for max width, we want to make it 100%. Okay. So once that's done, we also just want to make sure that we change the z-index of that to a 1. So that's just going to work with the positioning of all the different elements that we're going to be putting into place. Okay, and then we want to make this relative, and we want to make sure it's in the top left. Okay, so that's all there. All right, let's save that. And then we go and we add our first element or module, and that's going to be an image one. Now, what we want to do is we actually want to delete this image from here, and we want to jump into the background and replace the image here in the background instead. Okay, so I'm just selecting this image, and I'm going to say upload. And once that's uploaded, you want to make sure that it says cover. And then the next thing we want to do is we want to make sure that our sizing our width is 100%. If that's done, we jump down into our spacing. And here we want to give a bit of padding because we want to make sure that the whole image is displayed. So we give it a 40 VH top and a 40 VH bottom. So that's just going to make sure that the entire element is being displayed because we haven't entered any content on here. So it wouldn't show any of the background image. All right, now let's add in some content. Okay, so a text module. And I want to add in H2. On top. This is to visit. I want to make that an H2. And then we want to go and just style the H2 a bit. So H2, I want to make a Montserrat font. So there's a H2 over there. I want to push this to the center. And then I want to change my text size. So I want to push this up. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that it displays perfectly on each different device that I'm viewing it on. So for desktop, I want to make it a 10. View width. All right, so it's going to push it all the way across. Then on tablet, I want that to be 14. Whoops, 14. And on phone, I want it to be 15. Okay, just to make sure that it all pushes up nicely. Right, then I want to go back to desktop and I want to change my letter spacing to minus 0.5. Not pixels, but also view fine. Minus 0.5 EW. There we go. That's what we want. All right, so that brings all the lettering closer to each other. And then we want to go and jump in, change a bit of sizing, and we want to make sure that this width is also set to 100%. Now, position for this, we want to go and we want to make it absolute. And we want to put it into the center. Okay, so there it is. It's in the center of this column. Okay, so next thing we want to do, let's go and add in another row. Oh wait, before we do that, let's just change this color. Can we change the color? Okay, I can't seem to get it there, so let's just jump into the wireframe and 2 text modules, 2 sections. Okay, so that's for the top. Here we go. This is what we want. What I want to do is I just want to make sure I make my text module white. Okay. Then from there, let's jump back into our front. Oh, did I not save it? H2, make that white, save it. Okay, and then jump back into the front end. Okay, there it's white. All right, now we want to add in another row. So this row now we want the 2 columns because we want to have the region over here and then the description of it on this side. So let's add this one in. And as usual, let's first go and change some settings of the row itself. This one we want to make sizing, cut and cut the width. I want to bring that down to 1. I want to go maximum size 90. But maximum width we want to make 100%. So that'll push it for maximum size. Okay, and this one we want to make sure the Z index is set to 2 because we want this one to be above all the others. Okay, now let's jump into the first column. Let's give this column a bit of padding. So left and right, let's make this 5%. Okay, so it's just going to keep some nice padding and make it look a bit cleaner over here. And then we can add in the text. So I think what we put in the demo was East Asia. I'm going to make this an H3. And then we want to go and just change and style that a little bit. So we want to make this one also. Oops. We don't want to do H1, we want to do H3. We want to make this Montserrat. And then we want to underline this. Okay. Then our underline color, we want to make white. But before we do that, let's just go and change the sizing so that we can see how that looks. So again, the text size, we want to make sure that it is viewable on each of the devices. So on desktop, let's make that 4 VW. Okay, nice and big. But then on tablet and phone, we want to make it 10 so that it displays quite nicely and quite prominently. All right, so once that is done, we also want to make the letter spacing -3. So just bring them, you see it just brings them a bit nearer to each other. Okay, is that also on desktop? Yes, it is. Okay, so that's looking good. All right. So now what we want to do is we want to change all of the colors to white. So the underline is white. We want to make sure it's solid. And then we want to make sure the text color itself is also white. Okay, once that is done, let's give it some spacing. And what we want to do is we want to give it some padding, but we only want to give it padding on tablet and phone. So left and right, we want to give it padding 20%, and on the right hand side too. So we don't want it on the desktop. So desktop, we still want normal. And once that's done, we can now go add in our text to the column 2. So I'm just going to leave the text as it is, but what I want to do is I want to add in a background, and the background I want to add in is white. Okay, so that you're going to see that as I scroll it up. And then we also want to make sure style some text, because this does not look good. So maybe make it Playfair display. Let's make it italic, and size wise, let's make it 1.6 VW on desktop, and then on tablet, let's make that 3, and on phone, let's make that 4. Okay, jump back to desktop, and we want to go to line height, and let's make that 1.5. Okay, so that gives us a bit more spacing between each of the lines. Okay, then let's jump into spacing. And we want to give this a bit of padding, some decent padding. So let's give this 10 VH, top and bottom. And then left and right, let's give this 10%. Left and right. Okay, so that should give us a generous amount of padding for the background. And then finally, let's just add in that button. Visit now. Okay, we want to go and give it some custom styles. Alright, so button size, again, we want to play with it, because it's not going to be viewed as a button. If you recall, if we go back to our demo, if you scroll down, you see it just looks like a text link, right? So let's come and put it in. So button size in desktop view, let's make that 1.2 VW. Then in tablets, let's make this 2.5. And in phone, we make it 3.5. Yep. Okay, then what we want to do is jump back to text. Make the button color black. And we want to make the background color white. Button width, we want to put that on, or button border width to 0, as well as the radius to 0. And then the font, let's make it the same as the rest of the links. Okay. Montserrat. Okay. Then what we want to do is we want to underline this one. And we want to make sure our underline is also 0 and it's also a solid. Once that's done, let's jump in and give it some spacing. Okay, spacing. So spacing, we want to give it padding, 20 pixels, top and bottom. And then left and right, let's give it 50 pixels. Left and right. Okay, now I want to put position. Position, we want to make it absolute. And we want to put this, see it's currently in the top left, but we want to push it down to the bottom right. So that's displayed over here. Okay, and that is everything set up. Now we get to the fun things. Let's do some apply some sticky effects. Right, so the very first thing we want to jump into is we want to jump into the image module row in row 1. Let's jump there and we go advanced, scroll effects. Let's set this to stick to top. We want to set it to the section and we don't want it to offset from any surrounding sticky elements. Okay, once that's done, we can jump into design. So we want to now start applying some of these sticky settings because we've told it to be sticky. So we want to jump it width, the very first thing. So it's not showing me. Let's be this one. Okay, there we go. That's what I want. I want to change the sticky element. So on sticky, I want my width to be 80%. Okay, so make sure, that's not right. All right, let's be sticky here as well. And then only can I come down to 80%. Okay, so when it's sticky, it's going to show at 80%, but when it's on desktop, it's going to show full one. All right, then let's go and put some spacing. So we'll do some padding. So padding currently, top and bottom, is 40 VH, but for sticky, let's make that 50 VH. Okay. And then we also want to change the background. So when sticky, we want to put a background gradient. And that background gradient, we want to put the first color over here. I want to make that 00336B. Okay, it's like a nice blue color. And then for the second one, we want to give this an RGB color. RGBA 41, 196, 169, 0. Okay, so RGBA 41, 196, 169, and 0. Then we want to make sure that this is a linear, and we also want to make sure we push this down to 90. So that goes from left to right. Okay, and then finally, we also want to make sure that we place this gradient above the background image so that it can be visible. All right, so once that's done, let's make the transition here. Let's push it to something a bit higher. So 1.5 seconds basically. So that'll be nice and smooth. All right, now let's jump into columns. Let's go to column 2. And we make this one sticky as well. Stick to top. And this one we want to offset. So let's put in 150 pixels. We also want to set this to the section, but we don't want any surrounding elements, and we don't want to transition the default and sticky styles. Okay, then we can save that, and let's change this background color. So if we jump in here, we go to background, we put sticky, and we come down, we can change this background color to 33333. Okay, so that is set nice. Then we also go design, so text. Obviously we want to change this color, sticky, we want to make it white. Okay, so desktop is like that, sticky like that. And then we want to make sure that this transition is also a little slower, so let's put it down to 1 second. And then that should be it. So let's save that, save the draft, scroll to the top, let's exit the visual builder, and let's see what we get. If we scroll down, there comes the image, all nice. All right, gets to a sticky, it kicks in the transition, nice and smooth. We scroll, and it's coming up nicely. This one is all good. And then this one changes once it reaches the sticky element. This one also changes color. Now this should also stay until we reach the bottom of the section, and then we scroll up. Okay, so I just don't have any more content, otherwise we'll be able to clear the screen. All right, so that is how you can quite easily make use of sticky options and overlaps in order to create some transitions also within your design. I hope this tutorial will be useful for you, and if it is, do let me know and share where you've used this. I'm planning to post more Divi tutorials as I learn more about Divi, so please do hit that subscribe button to ensure you will not lose out on any of them. Your feedback is valuable, so please do leave a comment below with any questions or suggestions for future videos. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.